This is the card that I'm going to colour today, and this is starting off with just the easy to use grey pens. Now if you look on your chart that you can download from the Crafter's Companion website, this shows you all the colours that are in your ice grey, your cool grey collection. And we've got ice grey 1, ice grey 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10, and they're all there ready to be used. And it's a good idea to buy the refills that go with the pens so that you're never going to run out of colour. Now this is the image that I'm going to use, and I have made it smaller than the one on the card, and I've printed out a couple of sheets so that should I make a mistake or I want to practice a practice run first, I've got the images ready to use. Now this image is called Little Church in the Snow, and it's from Just Ink Lined, and as long as that image will fit inside a die or to the size that I want to cut it, I know that I can separate those two pictures and just work on the one. So I've got my pens set out. I've got ice grey 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10 as the chart shows me, and I'm going to look at the picture and look at what lies underneath, what object lies underneath another object. So I'm going to start adding the shadows in with ice grey 4, and all I'm going to do is work on one small area at a time. So I'm going to start with these trees on the left hand side, and I'm going to just add some shadow on the trees where the church might be casting a little bit of a shadow. And then I'm going to look at the branches, the shapes of the tree, and underneath where the branches are would be dark or would be in shadow. So I'm just adding some shadow in there, and I'm going to work my way all the way down the tree, and I'm going to do the same on all the trees on the left hand side. Now right at the bottom of the tree it would be quite dark because that is underneath. So I'm going to work my way with my ice grey 4 along all the trees. So the next thing I'm going to do is blend in that grey, and I'm going to the next lightest colour, which is ice grey 2, and I'm just going to very lightly go over the edge of the shadows and along the edge of the trees, and I'm just very lightly, I'm just flicking in the colour to just blend in that line. And if you notice, I've done all the trees now, so I'm going to do the same with all the trees, and that's just blending in this lighter shade of grey. Now once you've blended that in, take the ice grey 1 and you're going to blend the edge of the last colour that you've just put in, so you're going lighter and lighter. And again I'm just blending it in very lightly, and I'm not coming to the end of the branches because that's where the snow would be lying the thickest on the trees. And what I'm going to do there is just add in some glitter. So we'll leave a little bit of white on the trees, work your way along so that they're all blended in the same. So all I've done at the moment is work with ice grey 1, ice grey 2 and ice grey 4, starting with the darkest and working my way through to the lightest just to put the shade and the shadow in the trees. Now just to accentuate that shadow, I'm taking ice grey 6, and I'm just going to put a little dot of shadow in which just reinforces the shadow that we've put in. It's just a little bit darker. And I'm going to do the same on all the trees. Now you can carry on blending your picture until you're happy with it, but I'm quite happy with that group of trees. So whatever I've done to this group of trees, I'm going to do to this group on the right hand side. So we've now completed the trees on either side of the church, and adding in the shadows make your trees stand out. So we're now going to look at the building and the snow and colour this part in. So again, I'm going to start with Ice Grey 4 and add in some shadows. Now if you start at the top of the church, if you look at this, this shows you where the artist is implying that the shadow would be. So with Ice Grey 4, I'm just going to add in some shadow down the right hand side of the spire. And this side of the building would also be in the shadow. So again, I'm just going to add in Ice Grey 4 down that side, and again on this side and this side and this side of the building. So there we've got the sides of the building coloured. I'm also going to colour in under the door arch because that would be in shade inside the church, and I'm also going to just add some darker shade into the window areas because they would also be in a little bit of shade. And then we'll move on and look at the snow. Now if you look on the tops of the roofs, the snow is starting to slide off the buildings. So underneath there it would be leaving a shadow. So I'm just going to put that shadow in to the snow and along the bottom of the snow where it overhangs the building. So I'm just going to put some in there, and I'm going to do the same on the church. Now these edges with the Ice Grey 4 need to be blended in, so again I'm using Ice Grey 2 and I'm just going to blend in that colour very lightly. Don't add too much pen and ink, otherwise it will all bleed. So we're just going to add in some shadow along there and under there. And we're going to do the same all over the buildings. Okay, so now with Ice Grey 1 we're going to blend in the edge of the last line that we've just put in. So again, just very lightly come in with your pen and blend it all in till you're happy with the colour. And along the left hand side of the spire I'm just putting in the lightest shade of grey, and I'm going to continue with the snow, blending it all in. The front of the church would be the lightest, so I'm using Ice Grey 1 and I'm just going to blend all that colour in to bring them in with the rest of the picture. So once you're happy with the blend, I'm just going to accentuate the shadows with Ice Grey 6, and I'm just going to go under where the snow is overhanging the building and in the deepest part to the trees, just to add in that shadow, and again around where the branches lie over the top of the other. And we're going to put some shadow under the snow, and I'm going to continue with this until I'm happy with all the extra shadow. So now I'm going to work on the snow and the tombstones with the steps at the front, and again I'm going to start adding in the shadows. So I'm just going to do this area, but whatever you do to this area you're going to do to this area as well. So where the snow is banked up against the church, we're just going to add a little bit of shadow, and that's where it's in drifts, and it's also in drifts under the tombstones. So we're just going to add this in. Now don't touch the front of the tombstones because they would be in the light, but the steps, where the steps rise would be in the light, and where they level out would be in the dark. So I'm just going to put some shadow in there. Now all that needs to be blended in. In Ice Grey 2, and I'm just working up to the edge of the other colour and just blending it all in. And I'm just working in small movements just to blend out that darker colour. So once you've done that, take your Ice Grey 1 and you're going to blend that out even more. And you're also going to do the front of the tombstones. And I'm leaving the tops because they have the snow on them. So I'm just going to blend out this colour. And that now, you should be able to see the drifts in the snow. And you're going to continue all along the ones that you've just done, and then you're going to repeat that process on the other side of the image. So there we have the finished image, and all I'm going to do now is accentuate the snow on the card. So I'm using a quickie glue pen and some glamour dust, and all I'm going to do is look where the snow would be touching the building or the gravestones or the trees, and I'm just going to add in very lightly some of the quickie glue pen. So I'm doing down the edge of the branches, and let's come down to the tombstones because the snow on the top of the tombstones would be glistening in the sunshine. And we've got snow on the windowsills, and we have some snow on the roofs. So I'm just going to put the glue on the shadowy bits, and then all you're going to do is just get your glitter, tip your picture in, cover it with the glue, and there you can see the glue or the glitter just on the edges of the trees. And I'm going to work my way all the way across the picture so that all that snow is highlighted. So there's the picture finished with the glitter, and it just needs to be cut out with the frame. So this now is a dry run for the actual card. I've cut a blue background to my image and another blue piece panel for the card. So I'm just going to layer those up. I now have some lace that I'm going to add in and some ribbon across the top. I'm going to make a bow and add that in. There's my image, there's my sentiment on the same piece of card. Somebody asked me, can you add fabric and paper flowers together on one card? And the answer to that is yes, you can do whatever you want. So I'm just going to add in these are fabric flowers, and the little roses are paper, mulberry paper. And then for the final touch, I'm going to add down one side some pearls, and that will be my finished card.